Hello out there, and welcome to Your Next Mission video podcast. Did you know there are 1.9 million businesses in the country that are owned by veterans? And there are service members every day who are thinking about starting a business as they prepare to transition to civilian life. Today we're going to talk about a veteran business with an expert from the Navy Federal Credit Union. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Your Next Mission video podcast, where we tell the stories of those who have served in the past and those who are serving today. From transition to financial wellness, VA benefits to mental health, we cover issues facing veterans, active military, and their families. Now here's your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army and co-founder of the American Freedom Foundation, Jack L. Tilley.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to all of our veterans, service members, and families for your service to our great country. Now, before we get started, I personally want to thank our presenting sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union, whose members are the mission, and Purdue Global, where you can start your comeback, and USAA, whose mission is taking care of military community and their families always. With additional sponsorship from Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental and Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. Together, they make Your Next Mission happen. They love our veterans and families. I say it every week. We love them too. Today, we're going to talk about veteran-owned businesses and I'm so excited to welcome Larry Perino to the show. He's Assistant Vice President for Commercial and Small Businesses at the Navy Federal Credit Union and United States Army Colonel. Sir, welcome to the show.
Sergeant Major, I'm so glad to see you again, and it's really great, and it's such an honor to be on the show. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. We have a lot to talk about, sir, but before we do that, would you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself?
Well, okay. Well, and as you kind of mentioned it, I didn't always start off working in the financial services. So my first 25 years, I was commissioned in the United States Army. I graduated from the United States Military Academy back in 1990. I've had the honor. I had a great, nearly 25-year career working alongside soldiers, sometimes sailors, airmen, and Marines. Over that period of time in both conventional and special operations units, multiple deployments. But then I retired from the military in 2015, and I began work initially as a defense contractor, working in the defense industry. But in the end of the day, I found my way here in here to Pensacola, lovely Pensacola, Florida, and I found my way into the financial services industry, working for Navy Federal, because I decided, really, I just needed a new mission, and I need something that I could get behind and I'm passionate about. So I've been working for Navy Federal for about a little over 8 years, and I'm super excited to talk about it.
Well, we have
the subject we're talking about today is one of my. I'm passionate about it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we got a couple of things in common already. Well, more than one. I was in the Army. You was in the Army. I live in Florida. You live in Florida. And I love the Navy Federal Credit Union, and you're working with the Navy Federal Credit Union. So that's three things we really connect with. I said earlier that there are 1.9 million veteran-owned businesses in the country. Why do you think veterans make good business owners?
Well, also too, Sergeant Major, here's something to really consider. So of that 1.9 to 2 million veteran-owned small businesses in the United States, veteran-owned businesses. That makes up about 9% of all businesses in this country, 9%. And those businesses employ collectively about 5 million people, and earn over $1 trillion in income, generate income. And so it's a tremendous impact to this country. And so if you really look about it, why do veterans make good business owners? Well, it's pretty simple. It's all the skills, hard-earned skills that we've learned over a career or even an enlistment or two in there. Leadership and team building skills, resilience under pressure, risk tolerance, be able to assess and manage risk, which is really essential for an entrepreneur. Problem-solving skills, adaptability, attention to detail, efficiency, and strong work ethic. All of those can equate a very good, strong business leader and business owner.
Yeah, I guess you probably don't want us to answer my next question. Are veterans more likely to start businesses than the general population? I guess that probably is true then, huh?
Well, it is true. And according to the Small Business Administration, which takes a look at veterans are 45% more likely to start a business than the general population. They strong because historically, as I kind of mentioned before, they show strong entrepreneurial spirit with a military experience that fosters skills that translate into business ownership. Things that I've talked about already: leadership, discipline, strategic planning, risk management, all those things
Yeah.
really kind of lend towards being a business owner.
Well, I got to tell you something. When I got out of the service, I wasn't going to start a small business. I sort of fell into it. Somebody asked me to start doing consulting work, so I had like about 15 clients. I did consulting work for, and then I started to slow that down. Then I had a friend of mine says, "Hey, would you help me do some other stuff?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "Let me give you a contract." So that's how I really started my small business to get like that. But I was really lucky. But I guess it's all about contacts and how people sort of push you in that direction a little bit.
That's true. That's true. And if you really talk about businesses and what industries, if you wanted to talk about what are veteran business owners, there's not really one specific type of industry that veterans are more likely to be better at. Consulting, but veteran business owners excel in industries that level the skills, discipline, and leadership qualities honed during their military service. So, but I can name a few, government contracting, security and defense, construction and the trades, logistics and transportation, consulting works, just to name a few, but it really runs the gamut. We see them here, that our business members, it really runs the gamut of the industry.
Yeah, I think too that a lot of people sort of, like me, sort of fall into opening up their own business. I really got to be honest with you. I did it because of taxes. I was doing all this consulting work, and I paid taxes the first year. I about went crazy. I said, "How do I, stop?" They say, "Well, you need to incorporate yourself." So that's how I did that. Do you think a lot of people do that too? I mean, they sort of fall into that.
I think they do, and what we're also finding is interesting is, and I think we saw this a little bit during COVID, that especially when we started having our business member population at Navy Federal started growing. I think a lot of them, they started off as I call it a micro business, a small, like a one-person shop, that they combine their personal and their business financials, and that's going to kill them. And so they realize they got to keep their business expenses and their personal expenses separate and separate those accounts, and to be able to do that and separate, so for some of those reasons why you did, we find that some of our members are actually, that's cause for some of our growth here at Navy Federal.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is what you think you're going to do and what you're going to do is two different things. What you
100%.
Yeah, when you got out, I thought I was going to do this, and all of a sudden I sort of got redirected into another area. I had no idea that I was ever going to open up a small business, but I sort of felt it. I was lucky enough to fall into that.
And then also too, Sergeant Major, there's some people that says, like, I'm done working for other people. I've worked for the government. I worked for the Army, and I've worked for, we all have bosses. I get that, but sometimes they just want to work for themselves.
Yeah.
And,
well, the other good thing too is a small company I have. All the people in my company are all veterans. It's all a veteran, except for one person, the accountant, but she's probably the smartest person of all of us. But all the rest of them are retired sergeant majors and one first sergeant. So it's sort of flock to your own and sort of work together, which makes it really good.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's the shared experiences from a past, and where they come from, and they're a known quantity. I get it, Sergeant Major, 100%.
Yeah. Hey, we got to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about how many Navy Federal supports the business. I have the Navy Federal Credit Union supports our business owners. But please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Your Next Mission video podcast with me, your host, Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. If you're enjoying the discussion, I know that you are, because we're talking about your future as a business owner and how you need to set up your business. So please like us, click on that subscribe button below, and be sure to click on the bell to receive notifications of all of our upcoming video podcast releases. I'll be right back after a word from our presenting sponsors.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, proudly presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, the most trusted credit union owned by members of the military community, serving all branches of the armed forces and their families. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Their members are the mission. Purdue Global. You're ready for a comeback, and with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu. And USAA.
A promise is a trust not to be broken, whether spoken with an oath
Solemnly swear.
or sealed with a pinky. And after 100 years, we're still taking care of the military community and their families. That's our mission, always.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're talking with Larry Perino, the Assistant Vice President for Commercial and Small Businesses at the Navy Federal Credit Union and a Colonel, United States Army, retired. Before we get back to our discussion, I want to let everybody know about a way you can support the work we're doing on behalf of veterans and their families here at the American Freedom Foundation. If you have a used vehicle you're planning to get rid of or property you don't have any plans for, you can donate it. Visit our website at americanfreedomfoundation.org/donate and click on that vehicle donation button or the home donation button to support the work we're doing. We really would appreciate your support. Sir, what kinds of support do veteran business owners need?
Well, it's no great mystery, Sergeant Major. You know, the number one thing that we hear both from our members and then out in the industry and things that I've done for research. And the number one support our veteran-owned businesses owners or entrepreneurs looking into is access to capital.
Yeah.
Right. Veterans struggle to secure financing, at least initially starting out, due to lack of personal savings, a limited credit history, or even insufficient collateral to be able to lend to. So, but that's the first one. And really, the second thing really is, business education and training. Do they have the skills to not only, they may know their business, but do they have the skills required to run their business? What's their business plan?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to run their business and operate it and make it profitable at the end? And then other things that, the support that they need, believe it or not, networking opportunities. They need that. They need connections in their communities, with civilian business communities. They need it. They need it itself. But it also helps that they stay, using network opportunities with other veteran-owned business owners as well, preferably in that same industry, to be able to help them and support them, and provide new ideas. And then the last thing they really need is marketing and brand awareness. All of those things to make a business, grow and thrive.
Yeah. One of the things that I did when I started my business is, and you don't need a lot of money. Just to incorporate yourself. You don't need a lot. I work out of my house. I try to keep the budget down as much as I can, so I'm not spending a lot of additional money. And I never spend additional money that I don't have. You know what I mean? I stay within my means. And I think sometimes when people open business, they think, well, I'm going to make this much money in a year or 2 years, so I can spend a little bit more. Now you need to keep it a little tight there, especially for the first 5, 6, 10 years probably, to save a little money, so you can grow and develop and hire more people and bring them onto your company.
Absolutely. Cash flow is, cash is king when it comes to it. You got to have, you have to have it, and, don't get way over your skis and live beyond your means, and don't count money you don't have.
Absolutely.
And so, that's 100%, Sergeant Major. 100%.
Well, I think the other thing you said that I think is really interesting is the networking part of it. Your contacts that you made in the military, reach out to them, tell them what you're doing, especially before you ever get out of the service. Reach out and say, hey, look, I'm going to get out, whatever, and I'm going to start a small business. Here's what I'm going to do. Any assistance that you can give me, please, or any recommendation or advice. I'm sure you get a bunch of advice from a lot of people, but reaching out to them and talking about that, I think that's important also.
100%, Sir Major.
Yeah. Hey, what kind of support does the Navy Federal Credit Union provide? I know they provide a lot of support for people who are going to open a business.
Oh, absolutely. So for our business owners, where I work is a division called Business Solutions. So all of our 14 million members that we have at Navy Federal that are business owners, they can become business members with us, and we run a wide gamut of support, basic deposit, business checking, business savings, CDs, on the deposit side. Then we also offer, a full range of lending, anywhere from a business credit card all the way to commercial real estate, lines of credit, all that stuff. And so, and we, be honest with you, Sergeant Major, that we are still trying to evolve our product offerings, our service offerings. Really, it's not a product, it's a service that we're providing our members. We're trying to expand that. And so within this year alone, we're expanding to come back out into the SBA 7A program, which will really help, especially some of those folks that we can't lend to with traditional lending because they may have, there's holes in their credit history. They don't have 2 years of tax returns, and we can be able to kind of support them even further using those government-backed guaranteed loans. And then also, we're also going to put in, treasury management services. What are they? It's basically we help businesses on the deposit accounts handle their money efficiently. Do they have enough cash to pay their bills in their accounts, collecting payments, anti-fraud, all those certain things will really help a business manage their business financially. And it's not just a transaction, here's a loan, here's a credit card, but it's kind of the whole support of that business entity itself. Yeah. And we're really excited about rolling those out for our members.
Yeah, and I guess they can go on your website and they can find all that information or find out how to get redirected to you guys so you can help them. Hey, as you're talking all the time, I've been married for a long time. What about military spouses? Do you offer them support as well?
We do. And one of the other things that we do also, as well as we work with organizations like the Small Business Administration. So the Small Business Administration itself, believe it or not, it not only specifically has programs to be able to help veteran-owned businesses, but also spouses. So a lot of it, we may not be able to help you right away, but we can steer you to that training, financial education, all those things to be able to run your business. There's other organizations that we work with within this part of the Small Business Administration, like the Small Business Development Centers, SBDCs, which are, across the United States, and all of those actually and it's not just for veterans, it's any small business. They provide at a nominal cost or free small business training. They actually prep businesses to be able to start and actually achieve financing later on and work their way. We kind of send them that way. We also do work with the Small Business Administration, really the Veteran Business Outreach Centers called VBOX. It's also part of the SBA, and they have a program called Boots to Business, which is a 2-day orientation program really set for transitioning service members as they transition out about how to start a business, how that catch that entrepreneurial spirit or thinking about opening a business. We kind of give them the basics, and we partner in in the areas where we're at to be able to help the VBOX actually teach some of our future members or our current members. It doesn't really matter, service members in these things. Now, all those, some of those are really available for spouses, but there are organizations that we really have that we've really started working with. One in particular, it's called the Rosie Foundation. And you can look it up. They have a wonderful program called Service to CEO, which is an accredited instructional program for primarily aimed at transitioning veterans and their spouses. Because as far as how to start a business, all the way from the very beginning, and it really continues once graduates from those programs really can continue to network and really provide that mentorship. Because I can't stress that enough. One of those things that I haven't mentioned is mentorship and the importance of mentorship for some of these small businesses. So organizations like the Rosie Network, it really provides that really good mentorship to be able to help them thrive. And we've seen it in studies that a veteran, a business, that has a mentor is more than likely to succeed, clearly after 5. And most businesses, don't make it past 10 years for the most part. There's a vast majority that don't make it past 10 years, but they can live and thrive with a mentor. So we also partner with organizations like the Service Corps of Retired Executives, also called SCORE. Man, I'll tell you what, I left service and there's more acronyms still as I keep coming up here. But besides that, SCORE is in every, I think there's 320 chapters across the United States. And some of them are destined to small business owners, spouses, veteran-owned businesses. and that mentorship will actually, it's great. It's no cost to the veteran business owner, no cost at all, but they help them succeed.
Yeah.
They're wonderful programs that are out there. And what we do is we try to, if we can't help them ourselves, we really try to steer our members in those ways to be able to get that help, because we want them to be successful ultimately.
Yeah.
And it's more than just a transactional relationship that we desire to have with our members. They are our members, and it kind of is all part of our mission, right? They are our mission, and we want them to be successful. So it's not transactional; it's relationship based.
Yeah. A lot of really great points right there. But one of the things I was thinking about as you was talking is, when do I start that process? And I wish now, as thinking back here a little bit, I wish I would have started a business plan when I was already in the Army. Before I ever got out of the service, maybe 1 or 2 years before, put a business plan together so I can work out some of those details a lot better before jumping out of it and sort of falling at the end. The other thing is, you said small business don't last, 5 to 10 years or something like that. I feel pretty good because I think I'm on like the 18th year or 20th year, so it looks like I'm going to make it. Hey, sir, we got when we come back, I want to hear from what advice you would give a veteran or transitioning service members who is thinking about starting a business, so they don't go anywhere. I got a lot more to talk to you about, so stay right there. Now, here's a word from another organization that helps this make show possible.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision.
Part of transitioning out is that dental and vision insurance breaks off from your medical insurance.
Vision and dental is very important to be able to enjoy your retirement.
Blue Cross Blue Shield makes the transition so much easier.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're blessed to be here today with Larry Perino, the Assistant Vice President for Commercial and Small Business at the Navy Federal Credit Union, Colonel, United States Army, retired. Remember, this is your show. We know there's so many issues that directly affect you, and we wanted to address each and every one of them. So please, as I've said many times, reach out to me. Tell us what topics you'd like us to cover. You can call or text me at 844-424-113, or send me an email at SMA Tilley at yournextmission.org. And guess what? I'll reach back out to you. Sir, if there's a veteran or a transitioning service member out there that's thinking about starting a business, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think before the break, and you kind of hit on that, is, first of all, start off with a plan.
Yeah.
Right? Failure to plan is, you better plan to fail, because that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Just as that adage still holds true in that, and really go back and look. I understand with the audience, I'm throwing out a ton of sites and websites and organizations, and I do apologize up front. Hopefully, you can listen back to the recording and really access that. And one organization I would say is, if you don't have a business plan, some of those organizations I met will help you get there and really develop it. Things like Boots to Business, it'll kind of walk you through it and actually go through. There's another one, when I was transitioning out of the military, not to open up my own business, but there's a program called the D'Aleo Institute for Military Veterans and Families. It's run out of Syracuse University, and it's a fantastic organization that gives certification training, and all of these education opportunities, and also business training and business planning for military veterans and their families. And it's excellent. So I'll just tell you, in terms of wanting to start a business, and if you're really serious and you want to be successful, and you think there's some holes in your swing and you have the time, they have a program there, really for entrepreneur. It's called an entrepreneur boot camp for veterans. And I'm really digging into this thing, and it's a fantastic, which is, virtual and online. It's run out of 8 different universities, I believe, across the United States. They'll run that through the gamut, through all types of business planning, all those things that you need to have that I talked about in order to start a business. It kind of runs you through it, and then it finishes out with a in person in one of these 8 institutions like Syracuse University and other college campuses. They actually teach you, and it's at no cost to the veteran and their family, and really, and they've been running that program since 2007, because I reached out to them, and I think from them they had over 2,500 graduates. And what the stat is, what I found is amazing, is 83% of graduates from that program that have started a business are still in business today. So I just want to kind of point that out. If you're really serious about looking into it, IVMF, and it's the entrepreneurial boot camp for veterans, and check it out. I would just tell you. So, but we really talked about. Let's go into it. You need a business plan, and really you need to understand the basics of cash flow and how that works. What comes in, what goes out. And believe it or not, as I was writing my show notes, and we didn't talk, but you mentioned it already, but live within your means. Learn how to live within your means. Don't get in front of your skis. You just can't. And all these things I talked about is seek mentors, network as much as possible. That is really, really crucial. And that really gives you an idea of where you can find the support. I've given you some of those things to seek out. Let Google be your friend, because they can really help you find that. And then partner with a good financial institution, one that's going to support you. Right now, I'm partial to one in particular, but what we really want. But sometimes a financial institution that wants a relationship with you and with your business, wants you to see, not just working about booking that next loan.
Yeah. One thing, all great advice. One of the things that, as you were talking again, I was thinking about taxes as I did that. And I think people got to be aware of how much they got to pay in taxes. So what I did is I always said 30% of the money that I had coming in was, at least going to be set aside for taxes, because you don't know what your taxes was going to be. So that really caught me off guard the first year. Hey, I know you have everyone loves success. I don't know, but you probably have a lot of stories that you recall. Can you give me some of the success stories from the Navy Federal, that really people that you've worked with?
I really can, and I really can, and I had this one in my back pocket, knowing I was going to come on here, Sergeant Major. But
perfect.
I want to talk about a long-time Navy Federal member.
Yeah.
So, and his name is he lives in Jacksonville, Florida. And him and his wife, and his name is Mr. Aaron Gibson, and him and his wife, they own a business. Actually, it's a hair salon in Jacksonville. So now, how he got it started, Mr. Gibson, he graduated from high school and then joined the United States Marine Corps. But before that, growing up, he was always around. His foster mother actually owned a hair salon and operated at the back of his house. So I guess, and him and his siblings would cut their own hair. And I'm hearing stories about how they, practiced with the equipment. I don't want to see how that came out, but he actually had a little bit of a skill. And he wanted, we always used to, you always had your platoon barber, right?
Yeah.
When you go on deployment, on the ship. And so he was, everybody wanted a Gibson special as he was cutting hair on the ship. As they were lining up the Marines were lining up on the ship. And then he gets out and then he realized, he kind of liked it, wanted to become a barber. And he said, I don't know if I really want to go to cosmetology school, but he saw a man who was owned a salon in a mall, he said. And, he says, well, that's a manly man. I could do this. I could do that. And that's what he did. Well, they opened up a studio just before Y2K. Remember the Y2K hit? And they became a business member for us in 2007. Now, my division had only been around for 3 years, so they were one of our initial members, and we have continued to support them later on. So what have they wound up doing in those years? We helped them through COVID. We've helped them through COVID, through the PPP loan program. We helped them through, they helped them pay or, put a mortgage on their the building where their studio is, where their salon is, and they're thriving in that community. They got over 300 clients, and I just love to highlight them. They're very solid within their community. They employ, I think, 3 stylists And it's just a great success story in my mind. And it's very typical of a lot of our business members. A lot of our business members. We have a lot of small business members, that are startups, but we also have those that are wanting to grow their business.
Yeah. I got to tell you something. I've talked to a lot of people all the time about different things that are going on, but I've also talked to a lot of people about the Navy Federal Credit Union and the things that the Navy Federal Credit Union does for a lot of veterans and military spouses and is incredible, and I certainly appreciate that. And I think they're doing some great work. So anyway, keep up the good work, and I know you're doing a great job. Hey, this has been a great discussion. Any final thoughts? Anything that you want to share with the audience that maybe you missed, or you want to highlight something you said?
Well, I think that comes through hopefully is, I'm pretty passionate about this. I'm pretty passionate about our business members and wanting them to succeed. I truly do. And it's one of those things we want to provide them the servicing things for their financial needs that they need. We'd love to do that, but if we can't, we're here really to help, because at the end of the day, we want them to be successful. If we're going to say our members are our mission, it works the same for our business. Our business members are our mission too. I hope folks I hope I was able to at least get out some of those organizations where they could tap into and get themselves put on the right foot as they're trying to start their business or even technically really grow it. So I'm just so thankful I've had this opportunity to talk to you and see you again today, Sergeant Major, because it's been a minute.
I appreciate it. Well, we're all part of a family, and we got to make sure that we take care of each other, no matter where we're at. So I just appreciate you coming on. Thanks again to Navy Federal Credit Union for being, one of our presenting sponsors. Like I say, every week we couldn't do this without your support. So thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for just being with us today. You did a tremendous job, and we certainly appreciate it.
Well, Sergeant Major, I do have to say I really want to thank you and all the staff and the folks at Your Next Mission, the podcast, and I especially want to thank and tell you how much I really appreciate our partnership with the American Freedom Foundation.
Well, God bless you. We're going to be a partner for a long time, and don't you go anywhere, and keep helping those veterans and families.
Thank you, Sergeant Major.
Thank you, sir. Thanks again to Colonel Retired Larry Perino from the Navy Federal Credit Union for being with us today. I'm Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. You've been enjoying Your Next Mission video podcast, and thank you for joining us. Log on to our website at yournextmission.org and leave me a review. Hopefully it's a good review. While you're there, you can visit our nonprofit and corporate partners who can have jobs and services available that can assist you in your transition from the military. And check out our job board in partnership with Recruit Military and Upline, where you can create your own personal profile that will match you with just the right job in real time. You can follow me on my personal social media pages, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Rumble. And if you like what we're doing at yournextmission.org, please click on that subscribe button below. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications about all of our upcoming video podcasts. Remember, we want to hear from you. Please leave me a message or send me a text at 844-424-1134. Send me an email at SMA Tilley at yournextmission.org. Thanks again to Colonel Retired Perino for joining us today. And I just want to say about the Navy Federal Credit Union, a lot of people don't realize all the wonderful things that they do for our veterans and family, not just banking or money or small businesses. I mean, they're there for you, and they got your back. I said it a minute ago to the Colonel is we're all part of a family, and that's what the Navy Federal Credit Union. It's part of our family that continues to help every veteran every day they can, because I tell you, they truly care. They care for you and they care for me, and they're making a difference in the lives of so many. Thanks for watching, and thanks to New Mind Studios, and of course, our sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, USAA, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, and Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. We appreciate all you do for our military. And as always, see you in the high ground. Hooah!
You've been listening to Your Next Mission, brought to you by the American Freedom Foundation. Learn more by visiting yournextmission.org.